Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalashana Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Utaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So we will continue with the reading of Bhagavad-gīta as it is. From His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami, the founder-ācārya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Last time we started second chapter of Bhagavad-gīta, and Krishna was scolding Arjuna that what he is saying is not because of any proper judgment or nor of properly applied compassion, but is just because of Arjuna's weakness of heart. So now we will hear how Arjuna will argument or make arguments to Krishna's statement. So Shloka 4. Arjuna vacha katam bhishmam aham sankhye dronam cha madhusudana ishubhik pratyotsyami pujarhav arisudana. Arjuna vacha, Arjuna said, katam, how Bhishma, aham, I, sankhye, in the fight. Dronam, Drona, cha also, Madhusudana, killer of Madhu, Ishubhihi, with arrows. Pratyotsyami, shall counterattack. Puja arho, those who are worshipable. Arisudana, or killer of the enemies. Translation. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Purport. Respectable superiors like Bhishma, the grandfather, and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counterattacked. It is general etiquette that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, then should not be harshly treated. Then how it is possible for Arjuna to counterattack them? Would Krishna ever attack his own grandfather Ugrasena or his teacher Sandipani Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna. So here we see that Arjuna is taking some very particular rules, which he knows that they are in the position of his worshipable superiors. So that's why he cannot even verbally fight with them, what to speak of physically. So this is one of the Arjuna's argument. Shloka 5. Gurunahatva himahanubhavan shreya bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke atvartakamam stu guruni haiva bunjiya bhogan rudhira pradiktan. Gurun, the superiors, Atva, not killing, he certainly. Maha Anubhavan, great souls, Shreyaha, it is better. Bhoktum, to enjoy life. Bhaikshyam, by begging. Api, even. Iha, in this life. Loka, in this world. Hatva, killing. Artha, gain. Kaman, desiring. Tu, but. Gurun, superiors. Iha, in this world. Eva, certainly. Bhunjiya, one has to enjoy. Bhogam, enjoyable things. Rudhira, blood. Pradigdhan, tainted with. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Purport: according to scriptural codes, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance, although they should not have accepted such a position simply on financial considerations. Under the circumstances, they have lost the respectability of teachers. But Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they remain his superiors, and therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean to enjoy spoils tainted with blood. So, Arjuna is still pursuing his opinion that they are his superiors, but here Srila Prabhupada is putting another argument, because when it's also applied for Guru. If Guru is has lost this is basically, these are two conditions only when Guru can be abandoned. There is no other consideration while we should give up, how to say, why should we abandon our Guru? Only when he has lost his sense of discrimination and is engaging in abominable actions. But it also means in a long-term way, even if he falls down temporarily, there is not the reason. It must be something very, very serious or in the long term. So then Guru can be abandoned, or teacher. And Bhishma and Drona, of course, they were living on Duryodhana's expenditure, especially. I think Bhishma was, I'm not sure about Drona, maybe Drona also was living in the palace, but Bhishma was living there, so they were maintained by Duryodhana. Shloka 6. Nachaitad vidmah kataranna gariyo no gariyo yadva jayema yadivano jayeyu yaneva hatva najijiviram sams devastitah pramukhe dhartarashtraha. Nanor cha also etad this vidmaha do we know, katarat which, naha for us, gariyaha better, yatva whether, jayema we may conquer, yadi if, va or, naha us jayeyuhu they conquer, yan those who, eva certainly, hatva by killing, na never, jijivishamaha we would want to live, te all of them, avastitaha are situated, pramukhe in the front, dhartarashtraha the sons of Dhritarashtra. Translation: nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport: Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities combined with his faith In the words of instruction of Sri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicate, it is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge, and without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes, over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. Yes. So here we see some qualities of Arjuna, which are recommended qualities for spiritual elevation. Particularly, the sense control is very, very important when we want to take to the spiritual path. Unless the senses are controlled, it is very, very difficult to do any austerity or to be detached. So this is a very important thing in spiritual life. So then when the senses are controlled, we can pursue some sadhana, and from the sadhana we get realization, we get knowledge. And then ultimately with devotion we can get liberated, but liberated in a way, not impersonal liberation, but spiritual liberation, or coming to the spiritual world. So, next verse, this is a very important one. Usually is included in Shastric studies. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichami tvam dharma samudha chetak yashreyaksya nishchitam bruhitanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Karpanya of miserliness, dosha by the weakness, upahata being afflicted, sabhavaha characteristics, prichami I'm asking, tvam unto you, dharma religion, samudha bewildered, chetaha in heart, yat what, shreyaha all good, syat may be, nishchitam confidently, bruhi tell, that me unto me, shishyaha disciple, te your, aham I am, shadi just instruct, mami tvam unto you, prapannam surrendered. Translation: now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I'm your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Purport: by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the signs of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. So Arjuna is here after giving so many arguments why he should not fight. Ultimately, he came to the point, and in a spiritual life, this is a very, very important point, because we at some point we accept that there is no other solution than just to take help. So in this case, is recommended by scriptures to approach a spiritual master. In fact, Krishna in this position, he will also help us to find the spiritual master, to know who this person is, because in this state of consciousness, he sees that we are sincere and that we want help. So Krishna also is ready to give us this help. There is a saying that by the mercy of Krishna we get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru we get Kṛṣṇa. So this is like two-sided reciprocation. So for Arjuna, this is the breaking point, basically. And in this position also, any material opulence or mundane knowledge doesn't help. Whatever we try, whatever speculation we try, it will not help. So only then we realize that we need help from bona fide spiritual master. And also, Srila Prabhupada mentions here that material world is full of such perplexities where we are confused. And basically, it is also a purpose of material world is designed like this, that it sooner or later it puts us into position when there is no other option, basically. We realize that only way is to move forward and surrender in some way. So that's basically also purpose of material world. There will never be any situation like long-term happiness or peacefulness. Always there is something like this forest fire. Also, there are the three kinds of disturbances which are always there. One is from our mind, the other one is from other living entities, and the third one is from the demigods or some, it happens like some weather or some natural disasters like this. So these things are always disturbing in material world. At least one of them there is always. If everything is perfect, then our mind is disturbing. So always something. So that's how this material world works. Okay, we continue. Who is the man in material perplexities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.8.10, the perplexed man is described as follows. Yova etat aksharam gargyavitsvamal lokat praitissa kripanaha. Is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs without understanding the signs of self-realization. This human form of life is a most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is a brahmana, or he who is intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Ya etat aksharam gargi viditvasmal lokat praitisa brahmanaha. So here two kinds of person are mentioned. One is kripana, who doesn't utilize his human form of life for self-realization. And the other one is who is intelligent, and he's called Brahmana, and he knows the purpose of human form of life. So he utilizes it properly. The kripanas or miserly persons waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lovers, animals, who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and disciple are serious, and now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad-gītā, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad-gītā is stated in the Gita itself, and yet foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna's within and without, and one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad-gītā. So here the mentality of Kripanas is described. So they are attached to their family or society or country and think that though they can give some protection to them, or on the other side, they can get protection from their family, for example. But this is not proper, because all of them are basically temporary. All these bodies are temporary, so we cannot rely on something what is temporary. Only person we can rely on is Krishna, because he is eternal. He will never vanish or disappear like material things, material attachments. So this is our only shelter. So because Arjuna understood ultimately that, as Krishna told him, that because he's mentioning also in this verse, dosha, by the weakness. So he's understanding that his position is of the weakness or miserliness. So that's why he's approaching Krishna for help, because he knows that Krishna is capable to help him. Yeah, and at the end, Srila Prabhupada is very direct in those who have no, or who explain Bhagavad-gītā in some different way, that there is no need to submit to Krishna, that they are the greatest fools in trying to understand Bhagavad-gītā. So very, very direct statement from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, we go on with the next one. 2.8. Nahi prapashyami mama panudyat yachokam uchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatnam vrdham rajyam suranam apichadipatyam. Now do not he, certainly, prapashyami, I see, mama, my, apanudyat, can drive away, yat, that which, shokam, lamentation, uchoshanam, drying up, indriyanam, of the senses, avapya, achieving, bhumo, on the earth, asapatnam, without rival, ridham, prosperous, rajyam, kingdom, suranam, of the demigods, api, even, cha, also, adhipatyam, supremacy. Translation. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Purport. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Shri Krishna. he could understand that this so-called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence, and it was impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of a spiritual master like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. Iba vipra kibanyasi shudrakenenoi, yei Krishna tattvaveta sei guru hoi. It does not matter whether a person is a vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is in the renounced order of life. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is the perfect and bona fide spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, Lila 8:128. So without being a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, no one is a bona fide spiritual master. It is also said in the Vedic literature, Shatkarmani puno vipro mantra tantra visharadaha avaishnavo gurur nasyat vaishnava shvapacho guruhu. Scholarly Brahmana, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava, or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of a lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava or Krishna conscious. It's from Padma Purana. So here Srila Prabhupada says that spiritual master, his qualification is that he should be 100% Krishna conscious. Then he can solve our perplexities. Means that we can give some, or we can take some guidance from other people who are maybe not 100% Krishna conscious, but we also cannot expect that such person will give us lifelong solutions. He can give us some temporary explanation or something like this, but if we need to consult something very important, very strategic, then we should approach a person who is in this position, who is 100% Krishna conscious, because he can give us the guidance for the whole life, what we should do, what is important for us, for our spiritual development. And sometimes it even seems like that person is giving us something very trivial maybe, or we may not understand in the beginning what's the depth of this instruction, but after some time we will understand that this was the best instruction we could get ever. Even it seems like something very not important or in this way, but after some time we will understand how long this person in long term he is seeing our position also and our development. So then we can appreciate what is the quality of such person. And second thing here is the qualification in a way that this person, whatever his origin is, if he is not Krishna conscious, he cannot be a spiritual master. And even if he's a lowborn in one, whether it's Shudra or here is mentioned Shvapacha, means lower caste dog eater. So if his Vaishnava is eligible to become a spiritual master. Yes, there is some comment. 100% Krishna conscious is difficult to find. Difficult, but not impossible. I think we have definitely more than one person like this. There are devotees who are very much Krishna conscious. I would say Krishna's 100% is also possible. Yeah, but it depends also our how to say. If you are ready, Krishna is giving. So it also there is some effort also necessary from the disciple. So he is praying enough, or he's put in such situation like Arjuna was, that he understands the purpose of spiritual master. And if we pray to Krishna, he will reveal that person. And we can even understand that person is, maybe we have been meeting him for a long time or like that. So it's just about our readiness for meeting such person also. Okay. The problems of material existence, birth, old age, disease, and death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed. Yet the problems of material existence are still present. They are seeking peace in different ways, but they can achieve real happiness only if they consult Krishna or the Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the signs of Krishna. Although the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in through the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. If economic development and material comforts could drive away one's lamentations for family, social, national, or international inebrities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would be unable to drive away his lamentations. He sought, therefore, a refuge in Krishna consciousness, and that is the right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment. By the cataclysms of material nature, even elevation into a higher planetary situation, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke. The Bhagavad-gītā confirms this. Kṣṇe puṇye martyalokam vishanti. When the results of pious activities are finished, one falls down again from the peak of happiness to the lowest status of life. Many politicians of the world have fallen down in that way. Such downfalls only constitute more causes for lamentation. Therefore, if we want to curb lamentation for good, then we have to take shelter of Krishna, as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asked Krishna to solve his problem definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness. So here confirmation, what Arjuna is saying, even unrivaled kingdom cannot help him. So there is no material improvements which would solve these problems of birth, old age, disease, and death. They will always be here in the material world. So there is no material solution for them. Only spiritual solution is to basically to get out of the material world and come to the spiritual world. So material solutions depends what kind of solutions they are. If there are sattvic solutions, they can somehow a little bit relief. If they are rajasic or tamasic, they will cause even more problems we have. So with sattvics, this is what Krishna recommends us, why we are here. At least we do this, live in this way, in the mode of goodness. So at this, some relief will be there, and we can progress a bit. But with those in the mode of passion and ignorance, definitely we will get even more problems. How true love for Krishna can be developed? Wow. By association with persons who have this love. if no one else, at least Srila Prabhupada in the beginning, if we are approaching him through his books or classes, so then we understand what is love for Krishna. And if we understand this, then we will have also desire for it. And this desire is basically the only requirement to get this love, this very intense hankering to get this love. And this we can get when we get inspiration from devotees who have this kind of love. So like this, basically only this hankering is qualification, no education, nothing else. We need only to understand what is, or to have this proper inspiration for this love. I hope it's okay like this. Okay, there is one more shloka. I hope there's maybe 1 minute left. So, Sanjay Vacha, Evam Muktva Hrishikesham Gudakeshak Parantapaha Nayotseti Govinda Muktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. Sanjay Vacha, Sanjay said, Evam dus Uktva, speaking Hrishikesham, unto Krishna, the master of the senses, Gudakeshaha, Arjuna, the master of curbing ignorance, Paramtapaha, the chastiser of the enemies, Nayotsye, I shall not fight, Itidus, Govindam, unto Krishna, the giver of pleasure to the senses, Uktva, saying, Tushnim, silent, Babhuva became, ha, certainly. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of the enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. But Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapaha. Although Arjuna was, for the time being, overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he will soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness and would then surely fight. Thus Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated, since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end. Yes, so this is just a temporary hope for Dhritarashtra that Arjuna will give up. But since he is taking the path of, or he's taking the proper spiritual master, very soon he will be elevated from his position. So this hope is there. If we, like I would say, if we sit in the proper train, it's sure that we are going to this destination, that this train will bring us there, if we sit on the proper direction. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Śrīmad Bhagavad-gīta ki jai. Samaveta Bhaktivedanta ki jai.